This is the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA, a weekly recap of your Philadelphia Eagles and all the news around the NFL. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by the Philadelphia Protestant Home, Rob's Automotive and Collision, SEPTA, The Capitol Grill, Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, Ventresca's Custom Clothing, Chickies and Pete's, Begley, Carlin, and Mandio Law Firm, Hand and Stone Spa, Penworth Financial Services, BCWSA, and CJ's Tire and Automotive. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
Here we are at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill. Good to be with you. You know, I do about 20 of these shows a year at Bob Grotz, and I would say there is no show I would rather do than this one, because we have...
I'm with you, too.
This is one of the great guests we have
this
every year.
This is authentic.
And he has been a good friend for a lot of years, and his name is Seth Joyner. So to say Seth Joyner, you never have to introduce Seth Joyner, because not only was he one of the greatest Eagles of all time, he is also one of the greatest football analysts that we have ever heard, and he is now Mr. Media. You have now, what, about 14 different shows?
Yes. So as everybody probably knows, I left, NBC Sports Philly. I've been there about 5 or 6 years. Had an opportunity to do a new pre- and post-game show on Jacob Media. A lot of people don't know where to find it. But, as soon as the game is over, Mike Missinelli, and Derek Gunn and Devin Caney do a similar pre and post to, NBC's. So for people who don't know where it is, if you go to 6abc.com on their streaming app and you scroll down to features, you can click features. We're live after the game there. And for the YouTubers, if you go to Jacob Media, that's Jakib Media on YouTube, we're also live there. And then, I jump in my car from Atlantic City and I zoom back into Philly, and from 11:35 to 12, I do the Sunday Sport with on 6abc.com, not .com, on 6abc. Normally I'm on with Deuces Rogers, but I've been on with Jamie Apodi. Quite a bit the last few weeks. And then I get up on Monday mornings or the day after. I do 2 segments on WIP with Angelo Cataldi and the crew. That's been, a lot of fun. And then to wrap my week up and to, have me looking forward to some downtime, on Tuesday, I take my own show called the Seth Joyner Show. And it airs on PHL 17 on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. And then it airs on Comcast or NBC Sports Philly on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You have to check the local listings to find it there.
And with all that work and all of those commitments, and I said I had the nerve
How does he remember?
I had the nerve to ask Seth to come out here on a Tuesday night, which is his first break since the Eagles
and
game.
I'll bet he said yes.
He said absolutely,
immediately.
because he's the best. He is the best.
Merrill knows that I'll do anything for him.
Well, you're a great friend, and you a great talent. How much fun is all of this for you? Are you enjoying it?
I love it. I love it. I get a chance to, talk about the game that I love and still carry a tremendous amount of passion for. Hey, Merrill, it's like you. I mean, what is it? How many years?
46.
Only 46.
So 46 years, and the same excitement that you had in your voice when I played, you still possess the same excitement in your voice, when you do a game now. There's nothing like touchdown Eagles. There's nothing.
That's not bad.
There is nothing like that.
Well, I love it. I do.
And when you have that kind of passion for something, it's really not work. You just have fun doing it. So all the things that I'm doing, sometimes it can get a little tedious. Sometimes my battery gets run down a little bit. but I wouldn't trade any of it in. I love it, love it, love it. And anytime I get an opportunity like tonight to come out and talk about, these 10-1 Eagles and, what they're doing, or the NFL in general, I just love the game of football.
If I had you on last year at this time, and I said to you, Seth, next year when we get together a little past the midseason, the Eagles are going to be 10-1, what would Seth Joyner have said?
I would have said, Merrill, I think maybe you bumped your head.
Yeah, a lot of people would have thought that.
Yeah, and anybody that says that they could have, foreseen, these results this year, are just flat out lying. I think the players.
I said they might start off 9-0. I looked at the schedule.
Well,
I just looked at the schedule.
Well, listen, once
but you're right.
Once the schedule came out, and I began to look at the schedule. And there's a difference between looking at the schedule and, like Merle said, last year this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Last year this time it was a struggle. We were trying to figure out whether Jalen Hurts could be the guy. Trying to find out, whether this coaching staff and his head coach were viable options, to take this team, where it needed to go. But I don't think, once I looked at the schedule and realized that they had the second easiest schedule, in the National Football League, I thought that there was, they would have to, really fall apart and go sideways in order for them not to win double-digit wins. I didn't see them being 10-1. Realistically, they're one turnover or maybe two turnovers away from being, undefeated at this point.
Seth, I've seen a lot of quarterbacks over the years, and going back to Ron Jaworski, but I didn't see Ron as a rookie, obviously, because that was out in Los Angeles where he began his career with the Rams. But I did see Randall Cunningham come here as a rookie, and I did see Donovan McNabb come here as a rookie, and I did see a lot of quarterbacks in between. But I've never seen a quarterback go from his first year of actually playing, because in the first year he sat behind Carson Wentz and came in with the several games to go, and that was it. But I never saw a quarterback advance, improve as much as he has in such a short time.
Well, Merle, I think that, and people will say, oh, that's the college. But I think if you go back and you look at how his time at Alabama wound up and the massive improvements that he made in one offseason at Oklahoma, I think people forget that he came in second in the Heisman ballot.
Yeah.
And his numbers were just, off the charts for a guy who had a tag on him that he could not throw the football. He goes to Oklahoma, and Lincoln Riley works magic with him. I mean, he throws for, almost 4,000 yards.
I know.
38 touchdowns. He runs for another 1,200 yards, rushes for another 20 touchdowns. And the thing is, and Merle, you've been a big proponent of Jalen Hurts, even when everybody else thought that, he couldn't get it done.
No, I've been that way since the beginning, because I saw him at Alabama, and
Absolutely.
I saw him at Oklahoma. I watched him in practice, and I had Doug Peterson say to me, he can make every throw you have to make.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are saying he has modest arm strength or modest arm talent. He doesn't. He can flick the wrist and put the ball any place he has to.
Well, I mean, I think it's the difference between when you're drafted in the top 10, as a franchise quarterback and the expectations that come with that, and when you're drafted, in the second round, the 53rd overall pick. Those they expect for that guy that's drafted in the second round to come in and just light the world on fire. Now, where that guy that's drafted in the first round, he gets a little bit of time to develop and to grow. The thing about Jalen Hurts, and I'm not saying that other players and other quarterbacks in the league aren't this way, he is just hell-bent on getting better, plain and simple. How many guys have the wherewithal to realize how much they have to grow and change and mature and improve, that they go to, they hire the quarterback guru, Tom House, out in California. He puts on 15, 20 pounds of muscle, realizing that he's going to have to carry the ball, and, he's going to need that. We all know the legendary stories of him squatting 600 pounds. All of those things those things are pluses. But to realize that you need the help and understand that the system is set up where you can't spend time with your quarterback coach the way that you used to, that you can't have access, to the coaching staff the way that you used to, that you've got to go outside of the realm of what you would normally do and find that person, find those people that can help you get better. And the fact that he did that and understood that speaks volumes for, the type of player that he is, the type of person that he is.
Well, I would equate that to the type of player you were. Of course, there's a big difference between being a linebacker and being a quarterback, but you were all football. You were serious. You didn't just show up. You were at the facility studying tape hour after hour after hour. Your whole focus during that week was getting ready for the next opponent. You could have coached the team as well as played because you knew what the coaches knew. You were a student of the game, and he is a student of the game.
Well, if you love the game, and you want to be great at something, then you put the work in. I think that, for young players, I think sometimes what happens is, the goal is to get to the NFL, and when you're drafted early, you realize that goal. But when you're drafted in the 8th round like I am, you come to work every day understanding that, I got to bring a lunch pail, and I got to go to work every single day and prove my worth because not a whole lot is expected of me. So I've got to do something to get the coaching staff's attention. I've got to know what I'm doing because my opportunities are going to be far and few in between, where the guy that's drafted in the 1st or the 2nd round, he's going to get 2 or 3 years to kind of screw it up and mess it up and get it right.
Yeah.
Where my door of opportunity might only be open once. So I got to be ready to capitalize on my opportunity when it happens. Because if I don't, that door may never open for me again.
Yeah, I can think of 2 high-profile quarterbacks who, in my opinion, they don't put in nearly the time. And one of them, Zach Wilson. And I remember calling Merrill up and telling him I saw the most unbelievable workout. The arm talent was off the charts. He's on the bench right now. And the other guy is Kyler Murray. Talk about talent.
Yeah.
And both those guys much less effective than Jalen, I think Kyler has proven that he can win, but, that work ethic that we were talking about, I don't see that in either of those guys.
Well, a lot of it, too, the way that the way they carry themselves, the way they comport themselves, as a leader on the team has a lot to do with it as well. Because no quarterback has success without the other 10 players around them doing what they need to do. And when Jalen Hurts is a guy that makes it about everybody else instead of himself, and when he gives the accolades to everyone else, and when he leads from that perspective, because that's what the quarterback position requires. It's never about you. You're going to get most of the blame when things go sideways, and you're going to get way more credit, when things go well, and that's, as a quarterback, you have to understand that. I think that's one of the things that destroyed Carson Wentz's career is that he never got to a point where he understood that piece of being the face of the franchise and understanding that, he had to be the unquestioned leader of the football team. Now, he tried to do it. He just couldn't get there. And he was always fighting the ghost of Nick Foles, trying to supersede what Nick Foles was doing instead of just doing what he had to do, to get better personally, and then take on the task of being the leader on the football team and getting those other guys to buy into, what he was doing. You got to lead by example. You got to be the first one in the building, the last one out. You've got to be a detail guy. All of those things. I thought it was real telling when the Cardinals signed Kyler Murray to that extension earlier this year.
Oh, yeah.
And then they put the clause in his contract, and then once it got out, they pulled it back in. But the fact that they even had to put it in the contract spoke volumes to me that he was not doing all the things that he needed to do to be successful and to be the unquestioned leader on that team. And not everybody on that team or the organization really believed in him.
Yeah, and that clause was to put in, I think it was an hour a week or something like that of extra time on his own. Yeah, something like that.
I forget what it was, but he was required to, for film study and game planning and all that kind of stuff. And my thing is, if you want to be great,
why would you?
No one would have to, cattle prod you to do that.
Seth Joyner is our guest, by the way, in case you joined us late, but you know that the moment you hear him. Seth, is it accurate to say that we have to take a break? All right, I promise you, when we come back, I have something very easy. I'm going to pose it now, and Seth will answer when we come back. My question to Seth is, if his quarterback, Randall Cunningham, had the dedication and mentality of Jalen Hurts, would he have been a first ballot Hall of Famer? Seth's answer when we return.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, and we know Saturdays in the fall are special. Why? College football. And we have you covered with food and drink specials and the best in-game experience to watch your team or the college football game of the week. Come watch Penn State, Temple, Villanova, Notre Dame, Texas, Michigan, Georgia, and more. College football Saturdays are special at Chickies and Pete's.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Have you or a family member been involved in an accident? If so, you need to call an experienced lawyer you can trust. You need to call the personal injuries lawyers at Velter, Urofsky, Zoftis, and Sokolson. If you or someone you know has been in an automobile, motorcycle, truck, slip and fall, or drunk driving accident, contact Velter, Urofsky, Zoftis, and Sokolson. Call 215-969-3004. Again, that number is 215-969-3004.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
All tires aren't the same, and neither are all tire dealers. Michelin tires offer safe, fuel-efficient, long-lasting tires that provide exceptional performance and extraordinary value. B.F. Goodrich tires are built for drivers looking for high performance and aggressive styling. Trust the tire experts at CJ's Tire and Automotive in Fairless Hills. They'll get you in and out in no time, and their everyday low prices on B.F. Goodrich and Michelin tires can't be beat. CJ's Tire and Automotive. Better, faster, and more affordable.
Enjoy a world of Italian wine and cuisine in nearby Philadelphia at Grand Cafe L'Aquila. This Italian landmark cafe offers a wide variety of Italian options for both lunch and dinner, and before you leave, try their award-winning gelatos. Offering an online market for your favorite meats, cheeses, coffee, and much more, it's Grand Cafe L'Aquila website at grandcafel'Aquila.com. Call them today at 215-568-5600. That's 215-568-5600. Or visit them at their flagship location at 1716 Chestnut Street in Philadelphia. The world of Italian cuisine is only a 30-minute drive away at Grand Cafe L'Aquila.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
The life of a Philly sports fan is a wild ride. Some years we fly high. Some years we don't. What never changes year after year is how we get to the game. Shoulder to shoulder with our fellow fans on SEPTA. On the way to the tailgate, coin toss, and kickoff, the Broad Street line takes us from home to home field, and this season home free thanks to Bet Parks. Plan your trip to the game and learn more about free rides home. Sponsored by Bet Parks at iSEPTAPhilly.com.
Don't hang out alone in the man cave this football season. Hang out at Cheerleaders with sexy entertainers, $4 Miller Lights, Jameson specials, and awesome game day prizes during all Sunday and Monday football games. Stop in before, during, or after the game to see your favorite entertainers and your chance to win an awesome game day prize. The most epic game day experience is at Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, where champions play. Open daily from noon till 2 a.m.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill, and we're having fun. Our guest is Seth Joyner. Seth, I posed the question, if Randall Cunningham had been a dedicated professional, would he not be in the Hall of Fame, probably even as a first ballot Hall of Famer, with that enormous natural talent that he arrived with?
You know what, Merle? I think that the death of Del Scoville was a bigger deterrent for Randall Cunningham than his commitment to the game, because when Doug had Randall, you know, he was the one coach that Randall respected.
He called him Dougie Fresh.
Oh yeah, and the one guy he would listen to. The one guy that could, you know, direct him and tell him, do A, B, C, and D. And Randall didn't question it. I think his development just stopped the minute that Doug, you know, passed away.
Wow, that was tragic, too.
Yeah, it was. It was really bad because, you know, he wasn't feeling well, you know, a couple of weeks before. I was with a gentleman not long ago that knew Doug really well. And he said that, you know, he wasn't feeling well, and, you know, they told him to go to the doctor, and he was like, yeah, I'll be all right. And then, you know, obviously, you know, everybody knows what happened. But, you know, I think if Doug doesn't pass away, Randall continues to improve. And, I mean, his trajectory was already off the charts. But I think if Doug, you know, if he doesn't pass away, then you're 100% right. I think, you know, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Because if you want a glimpse of, you know, Randall's potential and how great he could have been, go and look at the 1998 season when he was with the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Billick.
He had Brian Billick as an offensive coordinator / head coach. He had Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Robert Smith at running back. Great offensive lineman, got great offensive line with Randall McDaniel, the Hall of Famer, was on that offensive line. Steve Jordan. I mean, Randall lit the league up that year, and I don't know how in the world it is that they lost to the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC Championship game.
Gary Anderson.
Well, but I mean, that game shouldn't have even been that close, because when you look at the talent level of those two teams, it wasn't even close. I mean, the minute, and that was the year that, you know, I was on Denver and we won the Super Bowl that year. The minute we saw Atlanta beat them in the NFC Championship game, I knew I had my ring.
Yeah.
But we were going to have to work against that Minnesota team because they were loaded.
You know, for those of you who may not remember, Doug Scoville arrived with Buddy Ryan. He was Randall's quarterback coach. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Doug and I were very close friends. And, in fact, Doug and Enid came to our house numerous times for dinner.
Right.
And the thing that bonded us is we were both tennis players. I hadn't found out about golf yet, but I was a very avid, I want to say avid rather than say high level, but I was a good tennis player. So when we took the trip, I think the Eagles played in Denver, and the next week they were to play in San Diego. So we spent the week out in La Jolla.
I remember that.
And Doug had friends who stayed at the Hotel del Coronado.
Oh, yeah.
So every day after practice, Doug would grab his car, pick me up, and we went to Hotel Del Coronado, and we played about 3 hours of tennis. And he was my doubles partner. And a couple of times that week, he had to sit down. He said, I'm just a little bit dizzy. I said, are you all right? He said, I'm fine. And he'd come back and play. I thought it was unusual, but I didn't think any more of it other than, he's working long hours and stuff. And so it was 2 weeks later when he came back, and he was working out in the Eagles weight room on an exercycle, I believe, when he suddenly died of a heart attack.
Was that 1990?
I'm not sure of the year.
Okay.
I'm not sure of
because 91, to compound that, Randall got hurt in that first game, remember?
Was
Bryce Pop? It was 91.
It may have been. Yeah, it was 91 because
it was Buddy's last year was 90, right?
Yeah, Buddy's last year was 90. It was Kotite's first year.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's why Bryce Pop hit him on the first play of the second quarter in Green Bay.
Yeah.
But that was the year that everything seemed to fall apart.
Well, I mean, that was really
you still won.
Yeah, but that was really our year. You know, it had taken some time for the defense to catch up, and our defense was really at that point where we were ready to take off. The offense was a little ahead. And
that was your window,
and what we really needed was, some synchronization with the offense and the defense, because there were point in times where the offense was really dynamic and other times where they weren't, where if we could have taken that year and put it with the 90 year and what Randall was able to do, we probably, would have won a Super Bowl.
You guys won 10 games without Randall. And then there was just I don't know what it was.
Well, one thing, Bobby, is they have one of the best defenses in history.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Bud Carson, who belongs in the Hall of Fame, Bud Carson had the #1 team against the run, against the pass, and overall. That was an amazing defense.
Yeah. It really was a tremendous year. That year under Bud, and I can just remember we went 10-6, and we didn't even get a wild card berth.
No, you didn't.
And those 6 games that we lost, I mean, we probably lost them by a total of 28 to 30 points.
I think you beat 10 playoff teams too.
Yeah, it
was crazy.
It was just crazy because if we could have averaged 14 points over that span,
we would have won 12 or 13.
Oh, easy.
And that was with Rich Kotite.
Yeah.
You're not talking Vince Lombardi as a head coach.
Well, I mean, that's how much of a difference maker, Randall really was. Because a lot of those games, we were really in those games. We just couldn't generate any points offensively. I can remember a game in Tampa Bay, to be exact. We kicked 2 field goals. I caused a fumble, right by the goal line. Wes Hopkins recovers it for a touchdown. And those 13 points are the only 13 points that we scored the entire day, and they beat us 13-14.
Oh man!
Wow, and that was with Calvin Williams and it was Calvin Williams and Freddie Barnett as your wide receivers, your principal wide receivers. I mean, that was a pretty good team.
No, it was a really good team. We had Heath Sherman, and Keith Byers was.
Keith Jackson was still there.
Keith Jackson was still there. Yeah. Keith Byers, was fullback / tight end. Catching a bunch of balls. I mean, we were on our way that year had Randall not gotten injured.
Yeah.
How about if Buddy hadn't been fired?
Well, I maintain that that was one of the greatest mistakes. Although there's a big difference between Bud and Buddy.
Yes.
Buddy at times, even though I love him, God rest his soul. He could be a little reckless, with his blitzing at times. Bud was a little more calculated. Buddy would send 7, Bud would send 6. I mean, and that kind of was the difference. But if Buddy gets another year, and I give you guys a story that you just absolutely won't believe. 2 days before he got fired, I was sitting in his office. I walked in his office, and he's watching game film, and he says, I gotta build this offensive line. I got the defense set now. I got to build this offensive line, for Randall to get him protection so that we can run the football so the offense can get where we need it to be. And he says, everyone's drooling over these two tackles out of Tennessee.
Yep.
That was
Charles McCray and Antone Davis.
And Antone Davis. And he looks at me, and in Buddy fashion, I can't say what he said. He said, neither one of them are worth a blank. Okay?
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. He said, neither
He
one
was
of
right.
Them, he said, neither one of them are worth a blank. And he said, but this kid right here is going to be a perennial All-Pro.
Let me guess. Jim Lachey.
Nope.
No. Who was a perennial All-Pro?
Well, what happened with Jim Lachey is Keith Byers played with Jim Lachey at Ohio State. Buddy wanted to trade for Jim Lachey, and Harry Gamble nixed the trade.
Really?
Yes. So then the Washington traded for him, and I believe that year that they traded for him, they won the Super Bowl that year.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I got my years messed up because that was the year that Lachey came out. The Eagle Scouts said he couldn't play tackle. He's only a guard.
Yeah.
And instead, that was the year they drafted Kevin Allen.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the guy that Buddy was looking at. The perennial All-Pro was Eric Williams.
Eric Williams, Dallas Cowboys.
And the Eagles were in position ahead of Dallas to take him.
Wow.
Without having to expend any draft capital. We moved up under Kotite.
You did.
And Gamble.
Gave up the next year's first round.
We gave up two first-round
draft picks
to move up and take Antone Davis. And the Cowboys just sat patted where they were, and they drafted, Eric Williams, and we know how those two careers turned out.
Tampa Bay, I believe, drafted Charles McCray.
Yep.
Yeah.
And neither one of them made it.
Neither one of them.
I mean, Antone was a great guy.
Antone had two good games every year, and they were against Charles Mann of Washington. I don't know what it was. There must have been something personal there. But that was it.
But
I'm going to let bygones be bygones. I'm not going to beat him up.
All right.
No. All right. We're going to take a break, and now we're going to return to the present and talk about the 2022 Eagles right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Dine in for these amazing fall specials. Wednesday is crab night. 2 pounds of snow crab legs, $49.99. Or mix it up with 2 pounds of snow crab legs and 4 hard shells for $79.99. Thursdays are for the birds. Whatever the Eagles score on Sunday, you get to save on wings at Chicky and Pete's on Thursday. Plus, limited time fall specials, including bomb pork belly tacos and the garlic truffle burger. Wash it down with our pear elderflower mule or apple cider old fashioned. Chickies and Pete's.
Former Philly Tommy Green, and here's the pitch. More people are online every day to check and pay their bills. Now you can have your BCWSA utility bill delivered electronically. Enrollment couldn't be easier. Just go to bcwsa.net or call 800-222-2068. With electronic billing, you have control to see your bills whenever you want and enjoy the convenience of viewing and printing up to 13 months of your previous bills. Best of all, the service is free. Sign up for e-billing at bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Philadelphia Protestant Home is a premier senior living community that offers affordable, quality, independent living, personal care, skilled nursing, and rehabilitation. PPH is located on a beautiful, serene campus within minutes of Bucks County and features a variety of on-site amenities for active lifestyles. Bowling alley, computer learning center, greenhouse, bank, market, and coming soon, a pharmacy. Call now to schedule a tour, 215-697-8000, or visit us on the web at pphfamily.org. At PPH, we're family.
Fall into relaxation at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. For an introductory price of just $69.95, enjoy the tranquility of their massage services and the rejuvenating glow their facial services provide. They even have specialty services such as a pumpkin facial or their signature hot stone massage. Restore, relax, and reset at one of Hand and Stone's 57 locations in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, for an introductory price of just $69.95. Call or book online at handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
Don't hang out alone in the man cave this football season. Hang out at Cheerleaders with sexy entertainers, $4 Miller Lights, Jameson specials, and awesome game day prizes during all Sunday and Monday football games. Stop in before, during, or after the game to see your favorite entertainers and your chance to win an awesome game day prize. The most epic game day experience is at Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, where champions play. Open daily from noon till 2 a.m.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And it is now time for this week's injury review, brought to you by the attorneys at Bailey, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. That's 215-806-3689.
Yeah, and the big injury is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Lacerated kidney.
Yeah. So, Seth, you think he'll be back before the end of the year?
I do.
Okay.
I think he's going to miss some significant time.
Right.
Zach Ertz had that a couple of years, maybe 3 years
did.
ago, and then he was back one
For the
week later.
playoffs.
A lot of it really depends on how severe it is.
How severe it is. You could have the same named injury, and they could be mild and severe.
And everybody heals differently too.
True.
I mean, he's a young kid. If he was a little older, I'd be more concerned about how long it would take for him to recover from it. But again, a lot of it just depends upon how quickly he heals.
Yeah, if they put him on IR 4 games.
So, I mean, here's a thought. I heard the guys on WIP talking about it today, about the interview with John Clark and Malcolm Jenkins. And Malcolm says that, and they had the conversation before they knew that, Gardner Johnson was injured.
No, he's coming back.
And John asked him, he was like, hey, if the Eagles, and he said, listen, first of all, they don't need me, and I'm enjoying watching things from the sideline. He says, but I'm in shape, and I can still play.
But now here's the but. This isn't the same as picking up retired guys. They would still have to pay the Saints.
Oh yeah,
he
they'd have
is
to
still
compensate
property
him.
of the Saints.
He's got 2 years left.
I mean, it's like when Dallas Goedert went down. Somebody said, why don't they go get Gronk? Because Gronk has been known to come out of retirement at the request of Tom Brady. Well, that's fine, except right now he is still property of the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Well, I guess that's a part of the equation that that conversation, didn't know. But I thought it was really interesting because you look at Eric Weddle last year that came out of retirement late in the year and walked away with a Super Bowl. lot
the
of people,
Rams, right?
Yeah,
Right.
and I mean, the game is so different today than what it was back when we played. There's no way back then you could walk in off the street, even if you were staying in shape, and play, because the game was just more physical and more demanding. But now the way the game is played, Eric Weddle proved it last year, and no doubt, Malcolm Jenkins is a guy that probably keeps himself in tip-top shape and ready to play. But to Merrill's point, the Saints would probably ask for that draft pick back.
Probably. They might. They could try.
Yeah.
Here, Seth,
We got one other injury, though.
Okay, go ahead.
Just Jordan Davis, he's eligible to start practicing this week.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no.
excuse me. We'll find out Wednesday if that happens. But that could be interesting, the defensive tackle. So, and he had a high ankle sprain. So if he's out there practicing, you could start thinking about Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, that type of rotation.
To be honest with you,
and Javon Hargrave.
When he comes back, that's going to be a heck of a rotation, because I don't think that you let either one of those guys that you signed go.
No.
The issue is when you weigh as much as he weighs, I think sometimes, you got to err on the side of caution.
And that's what Nick said.
Yeah.
Nick said, we will not rush him back.
Yeah.
We want to make certain that he's not going to go out and exacerbate the injury.
If he's 100%, then you activate him, and you've got enough tape and you got enough eyes on him to watch him this week in practice to see if he's 100%. If he's 100%, then by all means, activate the kid. But if he's not, I think you've got enough with the 4 or 5 guys that you've got on the roster right now to get by, another week. And I get it, I understand that Derrick Henry's coming to town.
Yep.
He ain't Santa Claus, but he's Derrick Henry. But if you really look at the Tennessee Titans over the last 3 games, Derrick Henry is averaging 21 carries a game, only 59 yards, Merrill. He's had 1 touchdown in the last 3 games.
Wow.
Conversely, if you look at Ryan Tannehill, since he's been back from injury, he is averaging almost 300 yards, well, precisely 293 yards per game. He's thrown 4 touchdowns, and he's putting the ball in the air an average of 32 times over the last 3 games. So something is going on, in Tennessee, that they are much more productive throwing the ball than they have been running the football.
But he's catching screen passes, too.
Well, he had set almost 80 yards as a receiver.
Yeah, I mean,
Derrick Henry.
That is
Hey, listen, I'd rather see him catch the ball and run with it than them to hand it to him and they get that train going.
Yeah.
Seth, I thought they'd have a little more success at the line of scrimmage last week, stopping the running backs of the Green Bay
I did
Packers.
too.
And in particular, Aaron Jones wasn't the one who hurt them as much as A.J. Dillon.
Right. Well, I think when you look at how the Eagles are constructed, they really want to be a 5-man front on defense on first and second down to take care of the run and put teams in third and long. The few times where you see them get into a 4-man line and they show it and they're in it early, and Gannon likes to, one of the faults of being in a 5-man line is that you lose one defender on the back end. So now, you're a lot more conservative in your coverage call because you're trying to stop the run because you're one less guy on the back end. Conversely, when you get in your 4-man line, you can line up in your too high look. You can play quarters coverage or quarter halves, cover 6 or cover 4 on the back end, and that allows you some latitude as far as the passing game is concerned. But if you look at the Eagles, I guarantee you, if you charted the Eagles, their defense when they're in their 4-man front versus their 5-man front, that's when they get gashed. That's when they have problems because they're double teaming the 2 tackles. The linebackers are keying the back rather than the offensive linemen. And by the time they can figure out which way the back is going, you got 600 pounds on 300 pounds, and they're already in the linebacker's lap. So the linebackers aren't really keying the linemen and seeing the double team where they come downhill and take the double team off so the lineman can maintain his gap. And the Eagles just, quite frankly, they're not as it's hard to be stout at the point of attack when you're being double teamed on run plays. So they're going to have to figure out what to do with that. Whether they do some stunning, whether you line Fletcher up in a 3 technique, and in the 3 technique, he's outside shaded the guard, and he's primarily responsible for the that B gap. Well, every once in a while, you're going to have to take him and bring him across the face of the guard, let him take the A gap to take away the double team, and have the linebacker slide down and take the B gap right now. Now that'll cause some confusion in the blocking scheme, and I think things like that help. Jonathan Gannon, not this week, but the week before, you saw T.J. Edwards come downhill on some run blitzes on first and second down.
Yeah.
You need to do more of that. I think the more predictive they are, the more predictable they are in their 4-man front, the good quarterbacks are going to look and see that, hey, you're one guy light because you're 2 high safeties. We're going to run the ball. Mm-hmm. That's what the NFL does right now. The quarterback comes out. I mean, even the young guys, they look, they see, 2 high safety, check. They hand the ball off.
Yeah.
They're going to run the ball.
Aaron Rodgers.
You get a 5-man front, hey, we may check from a call run play to a call pass play just because we have an advantage on the back end.
All right, back with Seth Joyner right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's Incredible Crab Specials Wednesdays this fall. 2 pounds of snow crab legs for $49.99 or 2 pounds of snow crab legs and 4 hard shells for $79.99. Thursdays is Chicky and Pete's Go Birds Wing Special. Whatever the Eagles score on Sunday, get that percentage off your wings on Thursday. Higher score, bigger discount. Plus, our fall specialty menu with the mouth-watering garlic truffle burger and B-Dog Impact Nachos. Enjoy a pumpkin shandy or a smoked apple cider margarita. Chickies and Pete's.
All tires aren't the same, and neither are all tire dealers. Michelin tires offer safe, fuel-efficient, long-lasting tires that provide exceptional performance and extraordinary value. BF Goodrich tires are built for drivers looking for high performance and aggressive styling. Trust the tire experts at CJ's Tire and Automotive in Fairless Hills. They'll get you in and out in no time, and their everyday low prices on BF Goodrich and Michelin tires can't be beat. CJ's Tire and Automotive. Better, faster, and more affordable.
At Penn Community Bank, our commitment to helping our customers and communities grow and thrive drives everything we do. Whether you are just starting out or setting new goals, we have the checking solutions that can flex to your needs at any life stage. And for a limited time, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Fall into relaxation at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. For an introductory price of just $69.95, enjoy the tranquility of their massage services and the rejuvenating glow their facial services provide. They even have specialty services such as a pumpkin facial or their signature hot stone massage. Restore, relax, and reset at one of Hand and Stone's 57 locations in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley. For an introductory price of just $69.95. Call or book online at handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
Enjoy a world of Italian wine and cuisine in nearby Philadelphia at Grand Café L'Aquila. This Italian landmark cafe offers a wide variety of Italian options for both lunch and dinner, and before you leave, try their award-winning gelatos. Offering an online market for your favorite meats, cheeses, coffee, and much more, it's Grand Café L'Aquila website at grandcafelaquila.com. Call them today at 215-568-5600. That's 215-568-5600. 888-848-4600 or visit them at their flagship location at 1716 Chestnut Street in Philadelphia. The world of Italian cuisine is only a 30-minute drive away at Grand Café La Cola.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are here at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill. Seth Joyner is our guest. It's now time for this week's Penworth Financial Keys to the Game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 267-997-4503 or visit penworth.com. It seems so obvious, Seth, to say that the number one key to an Eagles win this week is to stop King Henry, Derrick Henry, contain him somehow. Is that far-fetched, or would you? Is it as simple and obvious as it looks?
Well, I think that there's another element, that wasn't present before with the Tennessee Titans, and that's Ryan Tannehill actually throwing the football without having the benefit of play-action pass because, Derrick Henry has been, not as effective in the run game as he has been. If that's the case, if that's going to continue to be their mode of operation, because I have to believe that Tennessee is going to go into the game with the mindset that, we want to establish the run. But if the Eagles do a good enough job in their five-man front and dropping the safeties down in the box, they're almost going to force, Tennessee's hand to actually, throw the football. Now the pass rush has got to play, the role that it needs to play because I'm still not sold on Ryan Tannehill being, a franchise quarterback, even though, he is Tennessee's, quarterback. I mean, there's been times where we've seen him, not have the level of success that they needed to move on to the next level.
Which is why they took a chance and drafted Malik Willis.
Absolutely. So, we from an offensive perspective, the mindset for the Eagles defense has to be, number one, let's shut Derrick Henry down because at least you make their offense one-dimensional and you know what to expect. Down in and down out when a team can't run the ball. They know they can't run it. You know they can't run it. The only option they have is to line up, and throw the football. And I believe that bodes well, for the Philadelphia Eagles if that's the case, more so than not.
Even with the injuries in the secondary?
Listen,
okay.
Treylon Burks is emerging. That's the guy that, they traded, the first round draft pick that the Eagles gave to them for A.J. Brown.
I love Treylon Burks coming out of Arkansas. I thought he was a gifted receiver.
And he's starting to come into his own a little bit right now. But I'd ask you, I'm hard pressed to come up with a name of another wide receiver on that roster that I'm really afraid of.
You know how many touchdowns Burks has?
Number two.
0.
Well, so far.
Yeah.
Number 2, Robert Woods, who had been with the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, Robert's a possession receiver that if you fall asleep on, he'll run by you. But his numbers aren't anything spectacular over the year. So I still believe that, I'd much rather see Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball than I would rather see Derrick Henry running roughshod all over the place.
This is a real physical team, too. Nick mentioned that, but you can just see the way they play week in and week out.
Well, they're
the Vrabel teams. That, to me, that's like a key, too. How they react
they're
to
a
that.
reflection, Bobby, of their coach, Mike Vrabel. That's what he is.
Well, listen,
Real
they're old school when you really look at him. When you look at this roster, they're old school the way that they've been constructed. And I think that this is going to be the greatest test that the Eagles have faced all season long because of their physicality, because of their size, because of the way that they play the game, and they're going to challenge the Eagles from a physical standpoint from the word go. Because I can promise you that defensively, Mike Vrabel is looking at that film from last week and looking at 49 carries for 363 yards and 3 touchdowns and the quarterback running all over the place. He is going to challenge them to be physical with Jalen Hurts and be physical against this football team from the word go.
Okay, we picked some teams, 8 games each week, not including the Eagles. So, Bobby, you had a great week. You were 7-1. I was 6-2.
Whoa!
But I am still 1 game ahead of you. All right, here we are on the season. All right, first of all, Buffalo at New England. Seth.
Well, Buffalo is 2-2 in their last 4 games. This is a game that they have to win, and I think they show up big time.
Yeah.
Okay, Bobby.
2 for Buffalo.
Three
for Buffalo. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to save the last one. Green Bay at Chicago. Do the Packers bounce back? We don't even know if Justin Fields is going to play.
Well,
or Jordan Love.
Well, I think Jordan Love's going to be the guy to go. I think
they announced today that they're going to play. They're going to play Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, all right.
You know what? Listen, if I was running that organization, I'd shut Aaron Rodgers down. I'd be like, go get the thumb fix. We'll see you, in the offseason.
Yeah.
Because where they are right now, what are they? 4-8.
Yeah, 4-8.
They're not going anywhere. But I still think that there's more talent on the Green Bay side of the football than it is on the Chicago Bears. Even if Jordan Love winds up having to come in, he looked pretty impressive.
Yeah, he did.
Even though, Jonathan Gannon played pretty soft against him, he looked pretty impressive and pretty decisive where he wanted to go with the football last week.
3 for Green Bay.
3 for Green Bay. All right, Jets at Minnesota. Any chance with the Jets playing Mike White now?
Yes, because, I think that the thing that people are missing with the Jets, they're looking at the quarterback, they're looking at the offense. Their defense is darn near elite. They're darn near elite. And what's the thing
that's Robert Saleh?
What is the thing that is an Achilles heel for Kirk Cousins more than anything? Is defensive pressure and pass rush, and that defense will get after you.
Okay,
I'm taking the Jets.
You're taking the Jets.
I'm still going to take Minnesota just because I don't think that guy White is. Yeah, I think he had a good first half.
Okay, I'll take Minnesota, but I'm leaning towards what Seth's saying.
Yeah,
all right,
he's right. That defense.
This is a good one. Kansas City at Cincinnati.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Wow.
Yeah.
We only have a minute. Let's go fast.
At Cincinnati.
I'll take Cincinnati.
I'm still taking Kansas City.
Okay, you're going Kansas City.
Cincinnati
Bobby.
for me.
Cincinnati, Kansas City for me.
Okay.
And we'll all 3 say Dallas over Indianapolis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Miami at San Francisco.
Well, that's going to be an interesting game. That's going to be a very, very interesting game. I still like San Francisco.
Okay.
I'll take Miami.
Especially with them being home.
You're saying Miami, I'm saying San Francisco. Yeah. And finally, Jacksonville. Congratulations to Doug Peterson for beating Baltimore, but can they beat Detroit? The Lions are playing
Are they on
better.
the road?
They're on the road.
Wow. That's a tough one.
I'll take Detroit.
You'll take Detroit.
But that is...
I'm taking Jacksonville.
I think I'm going to take Jacksonville with you,
Me too. Okay. We're out of time. Seth Joyner is the greatest guest of all time. We appreciate him being here.
Thanks for being here,
Chris
Seth.
Ermer is our engineer.
Yeah.
And our executive producer tonight, Grace Quinones. That will do it for all of us.
Thanks,
Thank you
Grace.
for joining us. Good night, everyone.
You've been listening to the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Tonight's show is an exclusive presentation of 1490 AM, as well as 107.3 FM, and heard around the world at WBCB1490.com.